I want to say a few words about my father and why I believe this weekend is so important. But don't worry, unlike Lionel, I won't go on all night long.
The world was not prepared for this. Kensington Palace gates trembled with the sound of camera shutters around 8:45 a.m. today. A wave of murmurs evolved into a shout on social media, and in less than 60 seconds, #William the People's King was the top trend globally. Prince William has made a major announcement, and it is not the carefully crafted statement we've come to anticipate from within royal walls. This was honest, direct, and strong. In only a few words, William suggested that the tides inside the royal family are turning rapidly. Outside, the air was thick. Kate was spotted briefly walking out with Charlotte and George, attempting to keep them quiet as the world around them held its breath. William, clad in a plain blue suit, approached the platform, his look bearing the weight of a son who had spent his whole life preparing for this day. His voice did not tremble, but his eyes conveyed everything. This was not a political action. This was personal. He began by evoking his mother, Princess Diana, and her lifetime effort to instill compassion, honesty, and humanity in the royal family. "My mother believed in service," he added, "and I will honor that promise." With those words, William created a boundary that even King Charles and Camilla couldn't cross. This wasn't simply about taking on more responsibilities. It was about recovering a vision for the monarchy that had been slipping away behind layers of outmoded rituals and whispered scandals. But what prompted William to make this declaration now? For weeks, rumors have circulated about Charles's failing health, Camilla's growing influence behind palace gates, and swelling public desire for change. People have become tired of the monarchy being associated with scandals, extravagance, and secrecy, while the rest of the world suffers actual challenges. William anticipated this moment, but no one expected it to happen so quickly, aggressively, and publicly. So what about Kate? Those close to the pair say she has been William's quiet strength, urging him to take the initiative and telling him that the people are ready for a new chapter. Today, we watched more than simply a prince carrying out his duties. We saw a man respecting his mother's legacy while preserving his children's future. In the next minutes, we'll take you inside the palace, behind the carefully worded pronouncements, and into the realities that led to this declaration. Why is Camilla so upset that she is threatening to leave? Why does Charles remain silent when the walls around him shake? And how does Kate's modest elegance position her at the center of a royal family that is about to undergo its most significant upheaval in decades? Grab your tea, for what Prince William just said will permanently change not just his family, but also the destiny of the monarchy. Nobody inside the palace saw it coming. Staff were laying up breakfast trays for Camilla and King Charles when phones buzzed with notifications as news agencies across the world pushed the headline, "Prince William steps up, announces immediate transition within the royal family." This was hardly the typical speech read off cream-colored cards in a nice monotone. William's declaration was unambiguous, forthright, and difficult to ignore. He proclaimed that, beginning immediately, he will take on a leadership position within the royal family to serve the people of Britain in a time that demands stability, compassion, and courage. The implication was clear. William is taking the initiative, and the world is ready to follow him. Chaos erupted behind closed doors within the palace. According to sources, Camilla was spotted pacing her own drawing room, carrying a cup of tea that rattled on its saucer and looking pale with shock. She had worked hard for years to gain public approval, but in a single pronouncement, William grabbed the hearts of a nation by reminding people of his mother's promise of a monarchy based on love and service. And King Charles? He was apparently dumbfounded, taken by surprise while reading his morning briefings. For months, stories have circulated about Charles's poor health and the stress he is under as he navigates a monarchy that appears more disconnected from ordinary people. But no one expected William to act so quickly, and definitely not so publicly. Crowds gathered outside Kensington Palace, waving flags and holding up placards reading, "William, our King in Waiting," and "For Diana." Some wiped away tears as they watched the future king address them with the honesty they thought had been absent from the monarchy for far too long. Social media exploded with words of support, hailing William's bravery and naming him the leader Britain needs. William's statement was more than just a call to action. It was a commitment. "I will serve as my mother did, with compassion and integrity," he said, his voice firm, but his eyes reflecting the gravity of the situation. It was a commitment to his children, the people, and the memory of Princess Diana, who had wished for a royal family that stood alongside rather than above them. Behind the scenes, the statement exposed long simmering fissures in the royal family. Advisors tried to contain the repercussions, with some pressing Charles to issue a counterstatement to re-establish his authority. Others, sensing the mood in the country, saw a chance for the monarchy to finally connect with a younger generation under William's leadership. Camilla, however, interpreted the revelation as a clear threat. For her, it meant losing the influence and public favor she had spent decades gaining. Her relationship with William, which had always been tight despite courteous smiles, suddenly felt like an open conflict, with murmurs that she was urging Charles to remind William of the line of succession. Despite the approaching storm, William remained unconcerned. He returned to Kensington, where Kate was waiting with Charlotte and George, who hugged their father, unconscious of the gravity of what had just occurred. Kate, who stood at William's side, donned Diana's sapphire earrings, a subtle message to the public and the palace that Diana's spirit was still alive at this moment. This wasn't simply a speech. It marked the start of a new era for the royal family, one in which William would not sit quietly in the wings as Britain grappled with uncertainty and estrangement from the institution designed to serve them. As the palace tried to contain the shockwaves, it became evident that the people were ready for William's leadership, even if the palace was not. But what precisely compelled William to stand up now, risking conflict with his father and Camilla's wrath? Was it actually about service, or was there a deeper reality that compelled him to act? Stay with us, because in the following segment, we'll reveal the true reasons behind William's declaration and the covert power moves that are rocking the palace to its core. As Prince William's comments rang around Britain, a tempest was developing behind the royal gates. Camilla, who had struggled for decades to ensure her position by Charles's side, was taken aback, trapped, and enraged. According to sources, the moment William's statement aired, Camilla's teacup slid from her grasp and shattered on the marble floor, the sound echoing through the quiet halls. Her aides hurried in, but she waved them away while pacing and saying to herself, "He can't do this. He can't." Camilla saw this as more than a family issue. It threatened all she had worked so hard to achieve. Her popular approval had always been precarious, weighed down by the memory of Princess Diana. Camilla realized she was losing public favor again when William invoked his mother's heritage in front of the entire globe. The grins she had meticulously manufactured for the cameras were fading, replaced by terror. Behind closed doors, Camilla went to Charles, asking that he put William in his place. But King Charles, aged and tired, remained mute, peering out the window at the rain-soaked royal grounds. For months, rumors circulated about his worsening health, shaking hands, canceled appearances, and whispered chats among palace personnel. Now, with his son stepping forward in an unofficial transfer of power, Charles appeared relieved, but too frightened to show it. Advisors were split. Some pushed Charles to publish a proclamation reasserting his power, concerned that William's actions would make the monarchy appear insecure. Others contended that opposing William's push for modernization would alienate the populace even further. The younger generation was already turning away from the monarchy, perceiving it as outmoded and detached. William's promise of a sympathetic, accessible royal family was just what many people needed. Camilla, on the other hand, could only see one thing. Her authority was slipping away. She had fought valiantly to emerge from Diana's shadow, to become queen consort, and to transform her public image. William's statement rekindled old scars, reminding the world of Diana's pain and betrayal, which marked the early years of Charles and Camilla's relationship. The public, previously tentatively receptive of Camilla, was now filling social media with Diana's photographs, hailing William as the real successor to her legacy, the King of Hearts the monarchy required. As Camilla raged, Charles was stuck between duty and the realities of a changing royal scene. According to reports, he attempted to phone William, but the conversation was brief and strained, concluding with William's subdued words, "This is about the people, Father." Camilla reached out to Princess Anne, trying to acquire an ally inside the family. However, Anne, pragmatic and acute, remained cautious, recognizing the public's tide of enthusiasm for William. Aligning with Camilla now may mean going against the future king and the desire of the people, a gamble Anne was unwilling to accept. Camilla's worry was clear. If William took on a leadership position while Charles was still in power, it would expose the king's fragility and diminish Camilla's authority to nothing more than a ceremonial shadow. Her carefully constructed position would crumble beneath the weight of William's popularity. But while Camilla planned her next move, the world was focused on someone else, Kate Middleton. As rumors of more changes circulated within the royal gates, one question rang throughout Britain. Might Kate, the silent power accompanying William, be the monarchy's genuine hope as Camilla's influence dwindled? In the next part, we will see how Kate's silent influence is weakening Camilla's confidence and transforming the royal family's destiny, one small step at a time. While Camilla stormed and Charles faltered, Kate Middleton went quietly and confidently into Kensington Palace. She did not need to hold a news conference or slam the doors behind palace walls. Kate's power has never been based on bombastic assertions. It is all about presence, the serene, unwavering presence that has made her the most revered royal of her generation, as well as the silent menace that Camilla has long feared. Kate was spotted briefly walking out with George and Charlotte on the morning of William's announcement, her hand resting on their shoulders as she escorted them past cameras. Her smile was gentle, but there was a steeliness in her eyes, a resolve that told the world she was not simply standing by her husband. She was standing with him in this moment that may transform the monarchy forever. According to sources within Kensington, Kate was the one who persuaded William to come out. It was not about ambition, it was about responsibility, legacy, and ensuring that the monarchy could continue to serve the people with compassion and honesty. "Your mother would be proud," she allegedly told William the night before, channeling Princess Diana's energy in the same hallways that had sought to silence her. William relies on Kate's calm strength. In public, she continues her charitable work by visiting hospitals, meeting with mothers and children, and sitting on the floor to chat with young cancer patients face to face. Each presence conveys a message. The monarchy is not above the people, but with them. That morning, Kate donned Diana's sapphire earrings, a modest yet profound reminder that her legacy lives on. The people took notice, flooding social media with side-by-side photographs of Kate and Diana, calling Kate the princess we needed, applauding her kindness and humility, in a world where palace walls may appear cold and remote. Camilla, who was watching from Clarence's house, apparently sensed the shift of public opinion right away. Camilla had spent years attempting to project an image of acceptance, but Kate's serene elegance and true connection with the people made her attempts appear forced and empty. The public perceived Kate as a continuation of Diana's benevolence, something Camilla could never imitate no matter how hard she tried. Even royal aides noted the distinction. Kate's employees describe her as nice yet tough, leading with appreciation and exacting respect. She recalls names, inquires about families, and never seeks praise. Behind the scenes, she handles her roles as a mother and future queen with elegance, leaving people around her quietly inspired. William moved forward to make his announcement, knowing Kate was at his side, not only as a wife, but as a purposeful partner. Together, they symbolize a monarchy that seems human, capable of healing the scars created by scandals and past betrayals. Camilla, on the other hand, sees Kate's quiet authority as a menace that she cannot touch or defame in the media without becoming desperate. As William and Kate gain prominence, Camilla's influence drifts farther into the background. However, this transformation within the royal family is causing concern beyond Camilla and Charles alone. Across the Atlantic, another couple watched in astonishment, recognizing that William and Kate's ascension may be the end of their own comeback to royal significance. In the next piece, we'll explain how William's declaration shocked Harry and Meghan's world, and why it may push Harry to make a decision he's been avoiding for years. As the world celebrated Prince William's announcement, thousands of miles away in Montecito, a phone lit up with the news. Meghan allegedly halted mid-call, her eyes repeatedly reading the headline, as Harry stood nearby, stunned. For Harry, this was more than simply another royal update to disregard. This was his brother taking an action that may transform the whole monarchy, one that Harry previously thought they would do together. According to sources close to the Sussexes, the revelation stunned Meghan. Not because William was coming forward, but because they hadn't been notified. Meghan saw this as another example of the royal family ignoring them, making major choices while keeping them in the dark, despite the fact that Harry is still the king and Diana's son. Tension persisted behind closed doors at their California house. Meghan allegedly questioned the implications for their brand, initiatives, and philanthropic work, which they believed would characterize their post-royal existence. If William and Kate were emerging as the faces of a contemporary, compassionate monarchy, where did Harry and Meghan stand? Harry found it more intimate. This was the brother he used to confide in on long walks at Balmoral, the sibling who held his hand at Diana's burial while cameras flashed. Their friendship had frayed under the weight of royal pressures and media storms, but Harry had always felt there was time to restore it. As William took on a leadership role, Harry saw the divide become even greater. According to reports, Harry attempted to contact William following the news, attempting to understand why he hadn't been informed and to find a way to support his brother while keeping the freedom he and Meghan had battled so hard for. However, the conversation was brief and tense, with William allegedly declaring, "This is about the people, Harry. It is not about us." Meghan, being protective of her spouse, interpreted the action differently. She feared that this news would entice Harry back into the system from which they had worked so hard to escape, forcing him to choose between the life they had made in California and the familial ties that still tugged at his heartstrings. The public's reactions were divided. Some thought that this event would bring the brothers back together, viewing William's elevation as an opportunity for unification in Diana's memory. Others feared Meghan would never let Harry return to royal life, fearing that old wounds would reappear, causing more anguish than healing. During quiet periods, Harry allegedly glanced at images of his mother, recalling the qualities she taught him: compassion, service, and honesty. William's statements during the announcement matched those principles, leaving Harry divided between supporting his brother's goal and preserving the life he had built with Meghan. For the time being, the Sussexes remain in California, officially quiet but secretly shaken. Meghan is believed to be planning their next moves to guarantee their projects and public image stay strong, while Harry is faced with a decision only he can make: continue walking away from the monarchy forever, or find a way back, not for titles or obligation, but to respect their mother's legacy. But while Harry debates, another tempest is developing inside the palace. Camilla, witnessing William's ascension and the public's adoration of Kate, refuses to stand aside silently. In the following segment, we see how Camilla is preparing a desperate counterattack, threatening to divulge secrets that might tear the royal family apart if William refuses to back down. While William's comments were capturing the hearts of the people and the silent approval of palace insiders, Camilla was not about to give up the influence she had struggled for decades to obtain. The atmosphere within Clarence House was tense. Camilla was described as pacing like a lioness, phone in hand, making call after call, demanding meetings with advisors, and asking Charles, "Do something before it's too late." However, Charles, fatigued and suspicious, stayed seated, his silence saying more than any denial. He understood something Camilla didn't want to admit. William had the people's support, and no royal edict could change that. Camilla viewed things differently. To Elizabeth, William's statement was a direct attack on her position as queen consort. For years, she had faced public scorn, rumors of treason, and comparisons to Diana's brilliant memory. She had carefully cultivated her image, gradually sliding into the role of queen alongside Charles, confident that she had finally won the struggle for acceptability. With William evoking Diana's legacy, the public's affection for Camilla was fading overnight. Social media was awash with photographs of Diana and Kate together, praising their compassion and genuineness. Meanwhile, Camilla's name was trending for all the wrong reasons, with hashtags describing her as a threat to the monarchy's future. Camilla was furious and allegedly summoned her closest advisors, requesting solutions to neutralize William's momentum. And in a moment of desperation, she hinted at what many inside the palace referred to as her nuclear option, threatening to reveal secrets that may tear the royal family apart. What secrets may Camilla have that are potent enough to upset William's developing popularity? Rumors circulate regarding papers, letters, and financial deals from the monarchy's history that might damage its pristine image. Some think Camilla kept diaries, capturing private talks and disagreements that may humiliate the family if revealed. Others say Camilla knows facts about Charles's previous romances and economic links, which, if released now, may spark a scandal large enough to divert attention away from William's ascension. Camilla sees this as more than just keeping power. It is also about survival. She has fought for her position for far too long to allow William and Kate to simply overwhelm her. Camilla, desperate for supporters, allegedly approached Princess Anne, believing Anne would support her in facing William. But Anne, ever cautious, declined to commit, recognizing that the public's affection for William and Kate was too powerful to question openly. Charles, torn between his wife's terror and his son's drive, keeps mute, allegedly retiring into his own rooms, unwilling to confront the schism ripping his family apart. Inside the palace, servants say that Camilla's threats have heightened tension, which might escalate swiftly if she believes she has nothing to lose. If Camilla goes forward with her plans, the monarchy, which is already under pressure from the public, may not survive. While Camilla plots her frantic counterattack, William and Kate stay calm, focused on their responsibilities and relying on the public's growing trust. To them, this is more than palace politics. It is about keeping Diana's pledge and restoring the monarchy to serve the people with compassion and honesty. However, the issue remains. Will Camilla unleash havoc to rescue herself? Or will the dread of total catastrophe deter her before it is too late? In the last segment, we see how William and Kate's quiet resolve may eventually usher in a new era inside the royal family, and why Camilla's anxiety might be the last gasp of the old monarchy struggling for survival. As the tempest inside the palace intensifies, one reality becomes increasingly clear. A royal watershed moment has arrived. Prince William's brave statement was more than simply a speech. It was the spark that rekindled optimism in millions of people who still believe in the promise Diana brought in her smile. It was a promise of a monarchy that serves, not governs, and that soothes rather than commands. A human monarchy. Kate, standing peacefully alongside William, represents this commitment. Every polite encounter, every soothing smile to a needy youngster, and every moment of grace under pressure reminds the people that she is the future queen they can rely on. William and Kate have been a source of stability in a family beset by scandal, silence, and chilly tradition. Camilla's worry, whispered threats, and frantic tactics to maintain power are more than simply indications of dread. They are the death breaths of an old monarchy struggling to remain relevant in a changing world. Charles, tired and torn, knows the tide is changing, and deep down, he may realize that William's rise is not a betrayal, but the only way to keep the monarchy alive for another generation. Outside the royal gates, people are watching, waiting, and hoping. They view William and Kate as an opportunity for the royal family to finally fulfill Diana's legacy, to usher in a new era in which compassion and service are real acts of leadership, rather than carefully controlled optics. And for Harry, watching from afar, this might be the moment that pushes him to make a decision he's been putting off for years. Stay in the life he's made, or return and stand with the brother he once pledged to defend. The monarchy is on the verge of transformation, and for the first time in years, it appears that change is feasible. What are your thoughts? Has William's declaration saved the royal family, or will Camilla's anxiety break them apart from within? Please let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe, since what occurs inside the castle might alter everything forever.